Hello, my name is Gabe. For this problem, we're told that an object is moving vertically, and we know that after 1 second, the height is 128 feet, after 2 seconds, the height is 80 feet, and after 3 seconds, the height is 0 feet off the ground. And we're asked to write the equation which represents the height of this object. So let's begin by noting that the equation that we have is s is equal to 1/2 times a times t squared plus v naught times t plus s naught. So here, what we're tasked with is finding a, v naught, and s naught. So let's substitute these values into our equation and see if we can come up with 3 equations. So we know that when t is equal to 1, we have s is equal to 128 feet. So we can substitute 1 in for t and 128 in for s, and what we obtain is the equation 128 equals 1/2 times a times 1 squared plus v naught times 1 plus s naught. Now when t is equal to 2, we have that s is equal to 80. So we can substitute this into our equation, and we have 80 is equal to 1/2 times a times 2 squared plus v naught times 2 plus s naught. And finally, we know that when t is equal to 3, we have s is equal to 0. Now substituting these into our equation, we have 0 is equal to 1/2 times a times 3 squared plus v naught times 3 plus s naught. So what we have here is we have 3 equations as well as our 3 unknowns, a, v naught, and s naught. So we can write this as a system of 3 equations. So let's write our first equation as 1/2 times a plus v naught plus s naught equals 128. Our second equation we can write as 2 times a plus 2v naught plus s naught equals 80. And our third equation we can write as 9/2 a plus 3v naught plus s naught equals 0. So as I already mentioned, here we have 3 equations and 3 variables. Now let's try to write this system in row echelon form. We can do that by first adding -4 times the first row to the second row. So multiplying the first row by -4, we have -2a minus 4v naught minus 4 s naught is equal to -512. And our second row is 2a plus 2v naught plus s naught, and this is equal to 80. So here we can add these 2 rows. We'll have 0a minus 2v naught minus 3s naught is equal to -432. So we can substitute this back into our second row, and we'll obtain the system 1/2 a plus v naught plus s naught equals 128. Our second row will become -2 v naught minus 3 s naught equals -432. And our third row is 9/2 a plus 3v naught plus S naught equals 0. Now here, we can multiply our top row by -9 and add it to our third row. So multiplying our top row by -9, we'll have 9 halves A, we'll have -9 halves A minus 9 V naught minus 9 S naught, and this is going to be equal to -1,152, and our third row will remain the same as 9 halves A plus 3 V naught plus S naught equals 0. Now adding these two rows together, we'll have 0A minus 6 V naught minus 8 S naught is equal to -1,152. So here, our system becomes 1/2 A plus V naught plus S naught equals 128. Our second row is -2 V naught minus 3 S naught is equal to -432. And our third row, which we'll substitute this in for, is -6 V naught minus 8 S naught is equal to -1,152. Now here, we can multiply the second row by -3 and add it to the third row. So multiplying our second row by -3, we have 6 V naught plus 9 S naught is equal to 1,296, and our second row will leave the same, our third row will leave the same as -6 V naught minus 8 S naught is equal to -1,152. Now adding these two rows, we'll obtain a 0 V naught, a 1 S naught, and this will be equal to 144. So what we have here is we have a system of equations. Our first equation is 1/2 A plus V naught plus S naught equals 128. Our second equation is -2 V naught minus 3 S naught equals -432. And our third equation is S naught equals 144. Now at this stage, we can use back substitution to solve for V naught and A. Now what we have here is we have our original system that we found, as well as our system in row echelon form. So here we can use back substitution to solve for V naught as well as A. So let's begin by writing down S naught equals 144. So we already have S naught solved for. Next, we can take this and substitute this into our second equation, -2 V naught minus 3 S naught equals negative 432. So substituting 144 in for S naught, we have negative 2 V naught minus 3 times 144 is equal to negative 432. Now 3 times 144 is 432, so we end up with negative 2 V naught minus 432 equals negative 432. Adding 432 to both sides of the equation, we have a negative 2 V naught is equal to 0, and solving for V naught, we find that V naught is equal to 0. So we have our values for S naught and V naught. Now we can substitute these into our first equation and solve for A. So our first equation is 1/2 A plus V naught plus S naught equals 128. So substituting 144 for S naught and 0 for V naught, we have 1/2 A plus 144 is equal to 128. Here we can subtract 144 from both sides of the equation, and we obtain 1/2 A is equal to negative 16. And then by multiplying both sides of the equation by 2, we find that A is equal to negative 32. Now we can take these three pieces of information and write down our position equation. So our position equation is S is equal to 1/2 of our value A, which is negative 32, times t squared, plus V naught, which is 0, times t, plus S naught, which is 144. So our position equation is S is equal to negative 16 t squared plus 144. Thank you.